Alright, so I'm curious about this ArlusFinch stuff. I know this is like, what, 4 years old at this point. But if you guys remember back in my Call Me Carson video essay when I was reacting to that, this video, or rather the ArlusFinch stuff as well, got brought up, and I said maybe I'll do a video on it one day. So I added it to the list, and here we are. I'm curious about it. Apparently ArlusFinch back in the day had some grooming allegations against him. I'm curious. We'll see what we got. This video is by Iox, back in 2021. So, again, just revisiting it. We'll see. I'll just give my take on it. I've actually never heard of this guy, like, before. So, let's see what we got.
To many people, SMP Live is a joyous event filled with friends having a good time, just trying to bring back the glory days of a game not so long forgotten. It had a hand in building up and bringing back many careers within the genre, but also had an equal part to play in destroying quite a few. Behind the forced smiles, social climbing, and righteous moral boasting lay dark undertones still brought up to this day, leaving another permanent scar on Minecraft's already butchered history. In this video, I'm not only going to be going through ArlusFinch's history before and after SMP Live, but also giving you a bit more of an insight into other various personalities you may or may not be familiar with.
Alright, interesting. Let's see what we have. Yep. Also, is this, whatchamacallit? Is this Herobrine's Mansion? Holy fuck, that is a throwback. Or is it just the Hypixel texture pack? Because I have no idea. Maybe it's just the Hypixel texture pack. But, Herobrine's Mansion is such a throwback. I remember that from back in the day.
Which I believe are also worth a mention as well. To get a better grip of how ArlusFinch managed to get to the point where his career was about to take off with his friends, we'll have to go back a couple of years to a much simpler time around the commentary community. Many are most likely unaware, but Arlus used to go by the name of Tobazix, something that gets a lot more important later on. For me personally, I wasn't particularly associated with him. I spoke to him here and there in various discords around at the time, but nothing too extensive. He was more known throughout Pyro's friend group, popping up in
Pyro's friend group, as in Pyrocynical? Interesting. Okay. Good stream. You guys are lad. Yeah, okay. Cool. Yep. This was back in 2016. Okay, so it has to be Pyrocynical now. 2016 was like the commentary year back then.
Various videos and streams with them at the time, so it just puts into perspective how long this guy has been around. I'm not too sure why he left that community, but he somehow found himself rebranding to what we know today, which was basically kickstarted by J Schlatt's A Tribute to Minecraft. In it, Arlus was basically a side gag throughout the video, sparking up the whole style trend, and gained a fair reputation from doing so. People hopping in his streams, and eventually landing a spot alongside J Schlatt into SMP Live. Things started out surprisingly well, but it was only short-lived, as many of the events started to kick off shortly after. The first major kickoff was an altercation between two fairly involved individuals, one obviously being Arlus and the other Brint. I've invited him on to give his side of the events that took place and give you a better perspective on what happened at the time.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Brint, Brint Revised, and my experience with ArlusFinch was not so much of a good one, I'd say. I'd say we met through mutual friends in 2019. He seemed like an overall good guy, but as I got to know him, I figured that was not the case. Me, him, and others were playing Minecraft one night when my mom called me to come downstairs. Keep in mind, I was about 15 when this happened, and everyone on the call heard my name. They cracked a few jokes about it. It was no big deal. It was only my first name. The only big deal was if my name got out, of course.
What was your name? Just out of curiosity. I imagine we're not going to hear it in this video, but like, what actually was your name? That was like so funny. That was worth like bringing up. I don't know. I'm curious. Me personally, I don't think sharing your first real name is like that big of a deal. Obviously, last name gets very dodgy, you know, but if you don't want to share that information, you don't have to, obviously. Like, it's you do you, but I am kind of curious.
I was very paranoid during this time. I'm still get a little bit paranoid about things now. And if my name got out, I was worried people would find other information through that name, and they'd try and find more about me. So I was just uncomfortable with my name being out there, even if it was just a first name.
I mean, hot take. I think having your first name out there is really not that big of a deal, personally. Like, again, it becomes a problem when they have your last name as well. That's where I have a bit of an issue. I am very hesitant to give my last name to people out in the internet, just because I don't want people finding that information out, and I'm also respectful of that aspect. Also because, like, last name, you can find them through white pages or, like, stuff on the internet. People's data on the internet is, like, you'd be surprised. Like, if there's files of you that exists via, like, whether it's government or, like, filed through housing, etc., etc., they probably exist on the internet where people can Google you as well. Like, you'd be surprised. So, like, that's why it's important that you don't give your last name out. But first name, I don't really care that much.
Name. But it's simple. If I ask you not to make this info public, you don't. That's just internet etiquette.
Sure, that's a good boundary to set. Okay, yeah. I mean, people should be respectful of that, 100%.
But I asked everyone there to keep it secret, and of course they all agreed. They're really nice people. Well, except Arlus. Arlus didn't like me replying to his tweets. Every time I made a comment to his tweets, he would say I was riding off of his tweets for clout, even if they were just simple replies. I mean...
Okay. Do we have the tweets themselves specifically, or are they all, like, purged from history?
I literally didn't do anything for clout. I don't know how replying to tweets could get you clout. And when I didn't delete it like he asked, because they were simple replies and really no harm, he made too much of a big deal out of them, he posted my name under the tweet and said, I'll delete my tweet with your name if you delete your tweet, to blackmail me.
I don't think that's blackmail. I don't think that's the definition of blackmail. Blackmail specifically is, like, if someone, like, let's just say if it's, like, a relationship and, like, a bigger content creator is like, I have your nudes and I'm going to release these fucking nudes if you don't do this for me or whatever, you know? Like, that would be, like, a form of blackmail. That's what I think. But, like, saying I'll delete my tweet if you delete your tweet, that's not really what blackmail is. Again, I mean, I still think what he's saying is kind of stupid. Like, he's definitely making a big deal over nothing, but I just think it's important to use the correct definitions of words.
He also reported my tweets and got me locked out of my account for 24 hours.
Oh, well, that's very shitty. That's not good. Wow. Why would he do that?
He's just not a good person. Like, he literally does not like when I reply to his tweets. A basic Twitter function. But, there's a lot of discussion about the word dox. Did Arlus dox me? Well, he only used my first name. He still leaked personal information, which was not public at the time.
Okay, so just to be clear, in order for something to be doxing, I consider doxing, like, leaking someone's last name. I guess leaking their phone number technically would be. Maybe not as much. It probably would be, actually. It probably would be. Like, leaking maybe their work email, leaking their address, obviously, that's, like, a no-brainer. Pictures of their house and stuff. Yeah, I mean, like, doxing is definitely very bad. Hot take.
Which is doxing. It's not even the fact that you doxed me. It's the fact that
I highly doubt we're gonna see, like, any, like, extreme doxing. If it's just your first name, then, like, that kind of sucks, but I guess it's not the end of the world, honestly.
Repeatedly asked him not to use this info, and he knew it upset me, and he did it to make me do things like delete tweets or say what I wanted to say about him.
So is that what you mean when you said blackmail earlier? Because when you say blackmail, you kind of almost insinuated that it was because of the replying the tweets thing, not from the first name. That's information we didn't know about at first. So if that's the case, then yeah, I mean, there you go. That's shitty. Yeah, if he's holding that over your head saying, I'll leak this first name of you if you don't delete the tweets. Yeah, I mean, that's very shitty. That's definitely a form of abuse of power, I would say, because you don't want your first name out there. It's definitely not good.
Or say what I didn't want to say about him. He called me names, he blocked me for a period of time, and he basically treated me like shit and still used my name up until we released a tweet longer.
Honestly, blocking you was probably a blessing in disguise, is what I meant to say.
He harassed my friend Yahai Mice relentlessly and sexually harassed minors. Truly an awful...
Sexually harassed minors? What does that mean? Do we know how old ArlusFinch is at this point? And also, did he like actually legitimately sexually harass them? Because, listen, when people talk about this shit online, I get so fucking skeptical. Because in the online atmosphere, like, the online narrative about, like, sexual harassment, sexual assault, and, like, grooming and, like, all this shit is, like, very, very, like, it's so, like, not what it is in the real world. Like, it's a mockery of what it is in the real world. That's what it is. And so that's why I just tend to get very, very, like, I almost cringe every time I hear it on the internet, because it's like, I have to wonder, okay, is this a legitimate case of it or not? I'm not saying there aren't cases of grooming or sexual assault or, like, pedophilia on the internet. I mean, like, look at Zoe Laverne or EDP. I guess Mini Lad is a good example as well. Like, Mini Lad was pretty bad. I wouldn't say what he did was, like, technically pedophilia, because if you look at the DSM-5 definition of pedophilia, it's someone who's 16 or older. The age gap has to be 5 years or greater, and the person that's younger has to be 13 or younger. I hate to be the, well, actually guy about this, but, I think it's just important to maintain appropriate definitions of things. So yeah, what Mini Lad did was definitely not good. Maybe I'll deep dive on him someday, maybe not. I don't know. It's very old at this point. He's also really not worth giving the attention to. And he was very clearly manipulative, like, based on all the evidence, obviously. Like, he was not a good person. He definitely was, like, I would say he is a potential threat to children. I don't think it's disproportionate to say that. Anyways, we're getting sidetracked. But, like, yeah, like I said, I'm very skeptical when people talk about this stuff online. Because you have people like Call Me Carson who got canceled for being a 19-year-old talking to a 17-year-old, which is fucking insane to me. And it's very, very insane that people apply that level of disproportionate energy to him.
Anyways, that's my experience with him. And I hope this clears up some miscommunications, because a lot of stuff was being spread about me because of what I said about Arlus.
I feel you, brother. I feel you. Sorry you went through that.
A lot of connections during this time as well.
Okay, sorry. I have to cut the video here. Apparently, I forgot to turn off my ad blocker while watching this video, so that's great. Sorry, when I react to videos, I don't want to get ads. I'm sorry. I appreciate you, though. But yeah, sorry about that.
With Brent there, I had a similar experience with him relatively early on when I joined SMP Live myself. I noticed the similarity between him and Tobrix and said so in the chat. He immediately private messaged me asking me to remove it because he didn't want it associated with his new brand because it had his name attached to it, and immediately jumped to the conclusion that me knowing him was a negative and he might have done something to me. I never found any evidence towards something like that, but it is quite interesting the way he seemed to think so. If anyone does have anything relating to him under the name Tobrix, I'd certainly love to take a look, so feel free to message me on whatever. I'll leave the links in the description. Now going back
Gotcha. Okay. So he has two different names. All right.
A little bit, this first main point pretty much was wrapped up with that screenshot. It seems pretty brain dead for Arlus, who was an adult around 20 years old at the time, who was
20 years. Okay, so he's 20 during 2019, you said? Okay, interesting. Do we know how old the people he was talking to was? Because I know there's, like, apparently some grooming allegations that came out about him. I guess we'll look.
Who was so hellbent on posting a 15-year-old's private info online for basically no reason whatsoever, other than
yeah, I mean, that's definitely not good, you know? Like, it's definitely very, very shitty, for sure.
Than to just be a dick who didn't like it in return. The reaction to this from the server and various members was quite interesting in itself. Ant Venom, Sneak Snag, and
yeah, okay, sure, fine, whatever.
Krinios were all fairly vocal about their thoughts. Ant Venom even decided it would be worth posting this amusing piece of literature.
See, the funny thing about this post is when you choose to be unbiased and not just take the claim at face value, but instead look at the context of the actual images, you'll find that the entire claim is a nothing burger, and that I don't give a shit.
Welcome to most controversies on the internet.
After all that went down, Arlus was also pulled up on quite a lot of tweets he made in the past.
Pulling up Arlus. Okay, so what does Arlus say here? Honestly, I've had it with these fucking... Oh, Jesus Christ. I don't think I can read that on YouTube. Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, yeah, this guy is weird. He says he's had enough of Mexicans, Arabs, and Russians, and whatever you have that are unable to play the fucking games because their goddamn hands were below... Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. I cannot read that on YouTube. Holy fuck, that's... Like, listen, I don't mind an edgy joke here and there. Like, I like to squeeze in an edgy joke here and there. Like, I think edgy humor is a little bit funny. As long as you're funny, right? As long as you're not edgy for the sake of being edgy, you know? Like, I think it's funny. But, like, this isn't even funny. This is just fucking strange. Oh, and he literally says a slur in the next tweet, so I can't even read that. Okay, yeah, I mean, that's not good. Jesus Christ.
Which I'll throw up on screen now. Safe to say none of these...
ban all minorities, you assholes. Ban Nazis, you ass... Oh, wait, no, that's, the ban Nazis part is from another guy. Ban all minorities, you assholes. Wow, this guy clearly... I mean, if you want to be super charitable to him, these tweets were like 6 years ago, 5 or 7 years ago. So, like, if he doesn't do it today, or if he hasn't done it, like, years later, then you can kind of give him a pass for this. It's definitely not good to be saying this, I agree. It's very fucking bad. But also, like, these are old tweets, so if time passes and they are not doing it anymore, what do you want me to do? Litigate this on them?
Aged well at all, and thankfully he agreed as well. It still added further fuel to the pre-existing flame built on the previous dramas with both Yahi and Brint, and with the final point coming into play, it all wrapped up into a nice ball of no one wanting him to come back at all. I'm sure some would be willing to make arguments banking on it just being jokes and humour, but realistically, with the community he's trying to build an audience from, these kind of things will only be repeatedly brought up as a means to bring him down.
Well, yeah, I mean, I do agree that people that bring shit up from your past, just to use against you over and over again, those people are fucking unless you're like EDP, where you like try to meet up with a 13-year-old while they're like 30 years old, then yeah, absolutely, like, bring that up. But like anything else, like people bringing up old tweets of like that may have been edgy, or that like something that you probably shouldn't have said but like isn't that big of a deal or shouldn't follow you for the rest of your life, I agree, those people are annoying and they're fucking stupid, and people are bored on the internet, they look for an excuse to be outraged. I agree, it's very performative.
These things happening, the SMP Live server were unsure whether to keep him in or out. Carson didn't particularly step in at any point and just left it to a community vote on whether he should or should not be removed. Within reason, this was pretty stupid if you consider why Mice was banned. Personally, I think they saw it as a net loss for themselves, considering a vast majority relied on him and others to make the streams actually entertaining. I'm not going to go listing names, but I think it's fair to say that after the dust settled, the self-sufficient and grounded creators rose to the top, and those heavily reliant on having the community behind the other creators coming to them clearly set them apart from each other. This is reflected pretty consistently with the lack of interaction and massive drop-off.
Yeah, this is when Call Me Carson kind of like started to rise to prominence. Ew, it's fucking Joko. I don't like that guy. He's very strange. But I don't recognize most of the people here. Also, give me a moment. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. There was a lot of stuff I had to talk about. I had to step away for a moment, so we're good now. We can keep watching the video.
As soon as various events came to a close. A number of them even came crawling back to Mice, after which we'll go into a bit later in the video. Now, while I do believe the Twitlonger had some clear flaws and incorrect terminology with it,
okay, I guess we do have to read this Twitlonger, back when Twitlonger was even a thing, okay. Important, please retweet. Hey, I tried my hardest to not get into drama, but I've reached my limit. There's a dude in the community known as ArlusFinch /Toberix /Gamgina. Arlus is his name on Twitter, who's been doing some really weird stuff, including doxing, blackmailing, and mass reporting a 15-year-old minor and manipulating his audience to harass another streamer. Yeah, I mean, we saw this earlier. Okay, yeah. Definitely a very strange guy from what I'm seeing at first. Definitely very, very weird shit. Firstly, Anus. Your name is Anus? Yeah, right, okay. Obtained at this person's name during a Discord call. Here's a video detailing the situation and a transcript of the video. Fortunately, I can't access these. Maybe the video creator will play them. He then used this as a way to blackmail Brint into deleting tweets he didn't like, and threatened to leak Brint's personal details unless Brint complied with his demands. So this claim definitely has some credibility earlier, because it seems like he blackmailed leaking the name of this other person, the 15-year-old, or is that who the 15-year-old is? Once Anus got a hold of Brint's name... Oh, so Brint is the person that talked earlier, it seems. Okay, gotcha. Oh. I'm actually fucking stupid. It's Arlus. What the fuck? It says Anus here. I'm actually so fucking fried. What am I doing? Bro, this screenshot is so terrible. It's like I can't see shit, bro. It's so bright, and it's like a little too small. I wish we had the access to the original Twitlonger. Okay, so it's Arlus. Every time I said Anus, it's Arlus. My bad, I guess. Maybe his name should have been Anus. I don't know. I'm just here to goon at the end of the day. Without Brint's consent here. When Brint went to take down tweets about Arlus mass reported Brint's Twitter account, getting it locked for 12 hours. Yeah, okay, so we know all of this here. Gotcha. Secondly, Arlus used his influence to get viewers to witch hunt people he disagrees with. Alright, I would be curious to see the proof for that, because that's definitely not good if that's true. He's been talking about other SMP Live members in a negative light, specifically that by... Okay, yep. I would probably need to see proof of that. I wouldn't doubt it, though, but I would definitely need to see proof for it. Arlus also potentially hijacked or bought his Twitter @ which is against Twitter TOS, although we have no proof to back this up. It's pretty rare to see someone get access to their dream @ out of nowhere. Lastly, once this person got banned from SMP Live. Yahya Mice, I think their name is. Arlus sent his viewers over to Yahya Mice. Okay, cool, whatever.
Sweep it under the brand of Nothing Burger, and be completely impervious as to why it was made as just pure ignorance. While it's not a career-ending situation, it's incredibly telling of his character and the level of low this guy's willing to go down towards a literal child.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not good. Trying to harass some 15-year-old on the internet is definitely, like, not good behavior. It's very bad. It's very bad. Hot take.
Begs the question of morals of those defending this behavior, while also sticking to him and supporting him at the same time. He showed you his true colors, and you just decided to look away. To go along with this, after not only harassing Brent and mass reporting his account to get his tweet taken down, and his account locked, along with him being racist and continuing to attack Yahya Mice for seemingly no reason, it was a common theme for him to repeat the same story about how Yahi trolled a base on another server that happened a few months earlier. The thing being that it wasn't even his base. He was getting so wound up that Yahya Mice had griefed someone else's base on
Oh, I don't care about any of this. It's like griefing in Minecraft and whatever. Okay, I don't care about any of this.
another server, and that somehow lived
I'm gonna speed this up. Speed this part up.
in his head rent-free for nearly half a year. After all this fuss created around him, not only was he not kicked from SMP Live, he was also allowed to go onto the next dumpster fire SMP Earth, and continue on his shenanigans there. His habits started consisting of randomly DMing people.
For the future, you should probably ask how old people are before you send messages. Oh, okay, is this the grooming allegations? Okay, yeah. Alright, let's hear it. This is the grooming allegations, it seems.
SMP Live, he was
Because I remember seeing that screenshot from the Call Me Carson thing.
also allowed to go onto the next dumpster fire SMP Earth, and continue on his shenanigans there. His habits started consisting of randomly DMing people who he didn't know their age.
Yeah, we read the screenshot already from the Call Me Carson stuff.
Random sexual shit, and even got advised by one of them not to do it.
Okay, so if he didn't know the age here at first, I can't really litigate this onto him necessarily, unless there's like another allegation that we don't know about.
He said himself that being sexual was part of his humor, but to just randomly DM people shit like this is just desperately sad and just...
I'd love to shove my cock inside of you until you couldn't think straight. Okay, you definitely shouldn't be sending that to young people. I mean, even if it's a joke, like, it's still... I mean, I guess it would be... Like I said, if it's a joke, like, it wouldn't make it as bad, but it's still very fucking... You still shouldn't do it. Like, that's still very fucking weird. Like, even if it's a joke... I mean, there's obviously levels of bad to things, and there's nuance, but, like... it's still not good. Definitely.
plain creepy. The fourth and main general point that put the final nail in Arlus's coffin was that a lot of people were coming forward about interactions they'd had with him. It was a mix between...
Alright, here we go. Yeah, this is it. I think this is the grooming part. Here we are. Let's see it.
Some of the people who considered him a friend, and others who were just fans in general, who had had various interactions with him. They came forward with various accusations.
Whoa, you moved
Others
through
who were
this
just
way
fans in
too
general,
quickly.
who had had various interactions with him. They came...
Okay, Jesus Christ. For a second, you're like River Siver there, just like fucking flashing screenshots for like a split second. Okay. Alright, so this person named L. I was one of the minors that Arlus DM'd and acted very inappropriate towards. He knew that I'm a minor. He made me feel very uncomfortable and unsafe in the Discord. He uses Discord as his little dating site and uses girls for their money and attention. I can post proof if y'all want. I just need to get this off my chest. He has not apologized to me privately, and I don't accept his apology. That is literally all about him. So please, once again, if you support Arlus in any way, shape, or form, please unfollow me. Okay, well, I mean, do we have the proof of this?
forward with various accusations.
Okay. I assume this is the same person, or no, I think it's a different person because they blur them out. I told Arlus that I like blank as in a crush way or on iMessages whenever we were in the VC with Arlus to make sexual jokes about me and blank, and he said shit on stream, which was very worse and unpleasant. I told blank about the uncomfortable jokes. I really got worried, but Arlus just kept making the jokes. Then blank and I got distant, and then I deactivated. Okay, so just a quick question. Do we know how old Arlus is and how old these people are? Because apparently, if this happened in 2019, right?
And others who were just fans in general, who had had various interactions with him. They came...
8 hours ago. We don't actually know when this was. But this is assumedly in, like, all in 2019, and they said Arlus would have been 20 at the time, so do we know how old this girl is? Because that is very important. Do we know how old everyone else is? Okay.
NSFW off.
Okay, another one. Kat is this person's name. I guess I'll post this after some hesitation, but, like, the one fucking disgusting thing that Arlus said to me, other than that, I'm incredibly lucky to have not experienced anything. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly double check something. Alright, I tried looking up his age. I can't find his age anywhere, but apparently this video is alleging that he was 20 in 2019. So, like, how old were these minors? Because If it's like 17 and 20, I don't really care that much. That's like within a reasonable age range. They probably could have gone to high school together. Again, I would say 3 years is probably the maximum I would go for. 4 years I would say is inappropriate, and if it's like 5+ years, then I would say it's safe to say it's probably predatory, depending on the context. Yeah, I mean, sure.
For minors.
I would just like to know how old these people are.
All of which is highly inexcusable, even to his own standard, as he
Well, how old are they?
later came out with a twit longer following the same pattern as the last two, which pointed out by Iconismus.
Why aren't we mentioning the ages of the people involved? What the fuck?
These included a backstory to make whoever reading feel sorry for him, what he's done wrong, something to try and make you feel bad for him, and then a brief promise about how he'll do better next time. After that final twit longer, the SMP Live members finally decided to publicly disavow
Arlus, I don't support his actions at all, and frankly, I'm disgusted by them. I'm sorry to anyone he hurt. I'm sorry none of us knew about it. I personally didn't talk to the guy much, but there was always a strange vibe. If anyone's using their platform to do these things, I know it may be hard, but I encourage you to speak out. I personally will take it seriously. Your voice will be heard. Okay, you say so. Like, fucking how old were these people?
on their platforms, and Arlus finally...
Like, I'm not saying what he did was good. He's definitely a very suspicious person, at the very least, based on all the other stuff, minus the alleged grooming. But, like, I really would like to know what the deal is.
They dipped from all known social media platforms, although not completely. On Twitter, the only account of his that still seems to exist is the one reserving the @ArlusFinch with over 3k tweets still on it. Other than that, he's completely wiped his Twitch account, deleted his YouTube, and seemingly ceased all activity on his Discord, so hopefully it continues to stay that way. Also just wanted to add on here that while there's a lack of proof, I believe JSchlatt also might have had a hand in this situation. I find it hard to believe that he wouldn't, considering how involved he was with the whole Carson situation, who he knew for a much shorter amount of time, compared to Arlus, who he had known for quite a while.
Well, Call Me Carson literally did nothing wrong. Like, all the allegation was like a 19-year-old talking to a 17-year-old. I don't give a shit. Like, it literally, Call Me Carson did nothing wrong. And, like, yeah, I kind of understand. Like, if JSchlatt cut him off because of the... I feel like JSchlatt kind of cut him off because of perception, which is a little bit shitty. But also, I think it was also the mental health stuff, according to his video, which, I mean... You know, I kind of get from that aspect, because you're not responsible for anyone else's mental health. But again, 19-year-old talking to a 17-year-old, I don't give a shit. It's like, it's literally a high school age gap. I don't care.
Moving along a little bit, I think it's safe to say that there's been a lot of controversy surrounding many creators, but specifically there's three I want to shine a bit of attention on with this video. Those being Venom, Krinios, and Stickfab. Other than that, I think there's plenty been said on the other stories that have come out, such as Ink Voiceover Pete, I Am Spoon, and Minilad.
Yeah, I mean, Minilad definitely seems like a danger to children, for sure, based on, like, everything that's been covered about him. He definitely seems like a danger to children.
And Venom, as previously mentioned, was one of the first, along with Sneakstag and Krinios, to jump in the immediate bandwagon of going against the original Twitlonger against Arlus. I think I made my...
Interesting. I mean, I would just like to know how old the fucking people were involved. I think after I watch this video, I'm gonna do some research and, like, try to figure out, like, how old, like, what the exact ages were, because, like, I really fucking, like, I'm curious.
Point on that Twitlonger pretty clear already, but I just wanted to highlight some of the various points they decided to make about it, because clearly the purpose of it completely flew over their heads. Moving on to another one of the four horsemen, Stickfab. All I can say to start with is this guy's certainly an interesting piece of work, and while
What?
he's not a predator or anything like that, I feel bad for anyone who somehow managed to stay friends with this guy. Back when Yahi was taking more of a public approach at trying to get into SMP Live, both him and Stickfab were mates. Through Stickfab mentioning him to Carson directly, he was then accepted into SMP Live, and not too long after, shit started to hit the fan. Obviously, various events occurred, those mainly including the various creations of Sans and the End Trap. Individually, not the worst thing in the world, but I'm sure a case can obviously be made for his removal for not listening to the admins. But on the flip side, as I stated earlier, removing someone for over-the-top pranks and then keeping someone in who's pretty consistent with harassment, being racist, and releasing private information, and only giving them what equivalates to a slap on the wrist, it was seriously the wrong move. After he was kicked, the chat devolved quite a few times into a lot of shit talking about Yahi. I think you see where I'm going with this. Stickfab was obviously one of the main offenders. The chat was certainly not pretty.
All he does is post Twitter, Sans, whatever.
And Stickfab had no
Like,
shortage
whatever.
of input either. It basically
I'm gonna speed this up. Like, I don't think the rest of this video is gonna matter that much.
revolved around jabs around his humor and his enthusiasm to joining SMP Live before he got added, with Stickfab showing off his DMs in the general chat. Overall, it just seemed quite petty, with the majority being unnecessary in my opinion, especially posting a screenshot and blurring him out. Just comes across as very childish.
Okay, I don't care. This has nothing to do with ArlusFinch, just to be absolutely clear.
continues to fuel an unneeded fire. So after that whole saga had unfolded and he ditched Yahi for over 8 months, all the hype around him had virtually disappeared, and he then decided to come sliding right back into his DMs. Never apologized for his behavior and instead decided to ask for a collab. In that time, Yahi had started doing bits with streaming, his main channel, and his second channel, while most of the people who came crawling back to him had pretty much stagnated the entire time. If any general evidence comes into question brought out in this video, I'd be more than happy to share the logs of this server that one of the members has given me. I highly doubt that will be necessary, but it could help put things in chronological order and provide further context on pre-existing situations that have already occurred. If you're looking for any more pre-existing info, feel free to take a look at some of the twit longs I put together in the description. It'll certainly help in giving you more context on Arlus and things surrounding that situation.
Alright, well then, I guess we'll look at the twit longer. That's pretty much the end of the video. Yeah, let's look at the twit longers. I think twit longer is dead, but we'll see what we got. Alright, so most of there was a Google Doc in the description of that video that had a link to all the other stuff, but half of those links were twit longer links, and twit longer is no longer available, which means you cannot access twit longer or any pre-existing twit longers, unfortunately. Luckily there are some Twitter threads, and I think there's like one Instagram post, so I guess we'll have a look at those, and I'll give my judgment based on that. Okay, so this person had an interaction with Prussian Maple, who's 23 now. So that means, okay, so if we do some math, if they're 23 now in 2025, then in 2019, how old would they have been? Yeah, so if they're 23 now, they would have been like at least 17 or 18. I assume they would have been a minor. They claim minor, so it would have been 17 and 20, I think, is the age gap at this point, which, if the math is correct, I kind of don't care about the age gap, not gonna lie. I kind of don't care. Maybe there's more to it that's like he maybe like leverages his power, or maybe he actually like abuses the power dynamic, like he kind of does earlier in this story, like in a weird way, where he like was saying like, hey, you know, delete your tweets or I'll dox your real name, you know, like he kind of does abuse his power in many ways. So maybe there's something like that here. Okay, so I'm not ready to write this off as a nothing burger just yet. So I guess we'll look at it. This is a older tweet. This is 2020. I spent all day wondering about whether or not I should open up about the Arlus situation. I was part of the community for just a few months, but I grew close to a lot of people there, and I feel like I owe it to them to open up about who they're really supporting. I've experienced this stuff firsthand, and he's hurt my close friends, so don't come at me. I know what I'm talking about. Please believe the women that have come forward about their experiences with him. He's been inappropriate, manipulative, and a liar to one too many, including myself, and I'm tired of staying silent about it. Well, I don't instantly believe every single allegation on the internet, because most of them on the internet tend to be either false or sensationalized and a lot of nonsense. This one kind of seems like a bit of an outlier, though, based on what I've seen, but I guess we'll find out more. There's been many instances of him taking advantage of his female viewers, especially the artists. I wasn't the first one it happened to, but hopefully I'll be the last. I can't call it cheating since we weren't officially dating, but as soon as I called him out for being a liar, he blamed it on his mental health, just like his pet. Oh, so you guys were dating while you were either 17 or 18 while he was 20. Okay, like, whatever, who cares? Who cares about, like, either way, it doesn't matter. I've heard it before, and I don't want to stick around to see if he finally means it this time. His apologies always consist of, I'm sorry, I've been hurt in the past, I'm not in a good place mentally, and I'm sick of it. It's not an excuse to treat people so badly. It's the way to guilt trip people into forgiving him, and I'm not falling for it this time. His apologies always consist of... Oh, you tweeted this twice. As he mentioned in his apology, his exes treated him horribly, and he said to me that he did it to me exactly as they did to him. It's not an excuse. Stop saying you deserve better and just be better. A lot of my followers are people I've met from his Discord, so you know me. I'm not another stan that wants to cancel him. I'm someone who has been personally hurt of him and sick of seeing him get away with these things. Before anyone comes to say, why didn't you solve this issue privately with him? I tried. But he will do anything to change your mind and silence you. He will gaslight you, lie you, guilt trip you, talk shit about you. Okay, so it seems like she's not alleging... She's alleging just, like, bad relationship problems. Okay, I mean, it seems shitty, but on its own, I wouldn't say it's cancel-worthy, and also the age gap is perfectly fine, so I really don't care. Apparently this person deleted their original posts. Arlus has always pressured me to make NSFW art of Arlet. It was the weirdest thing and the most uncomfortable thing ever. I kept telling him how uncomfortable it made me feel and I didn't like drawing it, but he never fucking stopped. Okay, well, if you set that boundary with him, that's definitely shitty. Testimony from Shawnee, another one of the girls that was Arliss manipulated. Okay. I don't know how to really start this, but I wanted to talk about my experience with Arliss. I can say thank you, Moki Cam, all the other girls, because without seeing what you guys said and coming forward, I probably wouldn't have known what was going on or even have the courage to talk about it. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Shawnee, and I joined this community 7-ish months ago. Arliss and I met in a VC, began talking in private VCs together. This went on for a while in January, and he said he wanted to date me. Okay, do we know how old this this person is? The first month was fine, but as soon as he began to express that I was jealous, I would speak in VCs. Oh, Shawnee is her name. I don't know why I forgot that so quickly. With other people rather than him. He would make me feel bad about hanging out with the others and make me apologize repeatedly. I was told that people would warn me about being involved with him and to ignore because they were lying. Soon I was told who to like in the Discord and who not to, and unfortunately I listened to him. He wouldn't like if I ever disagreed with him on something, even little shit I was always told to. I was stupid and wrong for thinking that. He made me feel worthless and would tell how to look and comment on my appearance if he didn't like something. I can't explain all the awful things he made me feel. Around mid-March, he said he wanted to take a break because his mental health was bad. So far, like, I don't know how old this Shawnee person is. Okay. I don't know how old this Shawnee person is, because, like, so far, all this really is just this guy just is, like, a bit of a... He's just got problems, and he, like, needs to deal with them offline. That's really it. So far, I'm not really seeing any grooming, necessarily. Like, grooming, by definition, is a very intentional and methodical process of setting typically a child up for typically sexual exploitation. I need to know how old this girl is. I really hate that the original video creator said minor, and they didn't say the actual age of the person. Because it's very fucking... Like, when you say adult and minor, people are going to think, like, EDP or something. You know, they're going to think, like, I don't know, 16 and 30 or something. So, I would like to know the ages of the girls involved. That would be very important to know. I distanced myself from the streaming community after this. After the week, he came back and told me he was doing better and ready to be with me again. Things went on, and soon I became suspicious of the way he was talking to other girls. I expressed this to him. Okay, so he's kind of a fuckboy. Like, who cares? As long as they're, like, within a reasonable age range or they're, like, 18 plus. You know, then I don't care. And I was told it was all in my head or crazy, and not to worry about it, and he would bring up his exes and say he would never do that because of what they did to him. We began speaking less because I was getting more and more suspicious mid-April. He texted me saying he no longer wanted to be with me because of his mental health, and that was that, and we hadn't spoke since. I was not in a good spot after this, and I was almost hospitalized for not eating. I had to go to a therapist and nutritionist almost every day. I'm not saying this to get pity. I'm saying this to get across how fucked up he is and what he's done and how he made me feel. That's terrible. I had no idea he was talking to so many girls when we were together. Okay, yeah, cheating. I don't really care. Cheating's not good, but, like, I just don't care. Like, it's fuckboy behavior at best. Like, deal with it offline. I don't care. I found out about all of this because I noticed he deleted social media and didn't know why. I looked at Moki's Twitter yesterday and saw what she said, and as soon as I saw that all these girls had similar experiences, I felt so fucking sorry and felt sick to my stomach. It really depends how fucking old the girls were. Like, no one is saying the ages of the girls. It's, like, actually so fucking irritating. Like, are they of age or not? Because that's very important. Or are they within a reasonable age range? Because, like, that's very important information to know. Like, if he was 20 talking to, like, a 15-year-old, then that's bad, obviously. There's no excuse for that. But, like, if he was, like, 20 and 17 or 20 and 18 or whatever, they're like, who cares? Who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck? There are far more terrible things that happen to me when it comes close, but I don't feel like making those public at this moment. Oh, then why are you... Okay, whatever. I'm also still finding out that he did things behind my back and he's still hurt, but every girl he has said this without a doubt is true. I experienced them, as well as sexist, racist, and sexual things he has said and done are true. Well, it would be important if it was consensual and how old you are. Like, because again, you guys are not... Okay, whatever. Also, sorry to Katie and Cam for not believing what you guys were saying to me. I'm sorry for not listening to him over you guys, because you guys are so fucking right. Thank you, Gabby, for being such an amazing human being and sticking with me, yada, yada, yada. I love you all, and thank you so much for creating a safe space. And share, lastly, fuck you, Arlus. I fucking hate you so much. I can't even put into words how much I fucking hate you. Okay, alright, I guess we'll look at this, Instagram post, see if it's, like, worth bringing up, I guess. There's this L person again. I would be very curious to know the ages of the other girls. If not, I'll try to like do some research and like include it at the end of the video. Alright. So there's no script to this or anything, so if I mess up or get something wrong, I'm sorry. If I take the time to write something out beforehand, I will pussy out, and I need to do that because this needs to be said. Okay, so this was in 2020. They came out with this in 2020, not 2019. So he would have been 21 in 2019, but the interactions were in 2019 according to the video. Okay. I was one of the minors. Yeah, we read this already. Also, Prussian Maple, I love you so much. I'm so sorry this happened to you and many others in the Discord. Again, from the Prussian Maple situation, it was like a 17-year-old talking to a 20-year-old, which I don't really care too much about. It's like kind of a nothing burger. Unless he like leveraged his power against her, which he could have done. I mean, he kind of abused his power earlier in the story, so I'm not saying it's impossible. Calling out grooming and predatory behavior from adults to minors. It can happen to anyone. Protect each other. So just to be clear, like I said, grooming is a very intentional and methodical process of setting typically a child up for typically sexual exploitation. So far, based on everything I've heard and seen, what he did wouldn't technically be grooming. You know, grooming would be like separating you from your friends and your family, making sure that like all these doing all these methodical things. Like Zoe Laverne's a good example. She told the victim that he couldn't trust anyone around him, that you couldn't trust anyone. Then she literally moved in his neighborhood just to be around him more, doing like all these very methodical things to make sure the abuse like continues. It's like very, very insidious, calculated behavior, and it's intentional predatory behavior as well. So we haven't really seen that specifically. There's like other signs of grooming, obviously, but like based on what I've seen, there's not really grooming here. Potentially very inappropriate behavior, but again, no one is saying the ages of these people. Arlus, you better not have had sex. The Lord is going to punish with you. I don't know how to respond. Okay, I'm going to try to stop the recording, and I'm going to see if I can find the actual ages of the people involved, because I think that's very important information, and if I can't turn anything up, then I'll just give my final thoughts on the situation. Alright, I'm back. I came across a couple of things here and there, but I'm going to be absolutely real with you. Based on the very little I've seen, like, from this video and, like, what's currently publicly available, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe there's something I haven't seen that's been deleted now, but so far, right, ArlusFinch definitely strikes me as a very edgy person. He definitely strikes me as someone has extraordinary fucking boundary issues, and he probably should log off the internet. It's probably for the better of himself and everyone else around him to just fucking log off, because he clearly does not understand the concept of boundaries around other people. That being said, I haven't really seen anything that would explicitly be considered grooming. Again, you know, we've already established the definition of grooming. It's, you know, establishing a relationship with a child with the intention of trying to sexually exploit that person. Usually it's a child. It can be an adult. You can groom adults. It's very rare, though. Again, like, unless it's like an Andrew Tate situation, you're not really gonna see grooming an adult very often. Like, it's very, very rare. So yeah, I wouldn't really say there was technically any grooming, but just because there's no grooming doesn't necessarily mean he did something wrong. And I think one of the allegations I looked at from another video, he was 20 while the girl was 16, or while one of the girls was 16. I would say that's inappropriate. Definitely not a huge fan of it personally. Wouldn't call it predatory, depending on the context. But yeah, I mean, if it seems like it's repeated behavior, definitely seems like he had problems for sure. So I'm all for him logging off the internet and probably just never going online again. It's probably for the better. He definitely seems like an edgy guy who has extraordinary boundary issues. I do think some of the narratives are a little bit sensationalized based on what I've seen, and there's also very limited information available. But I tried arguing in good faith, so if anyone has any more information, please leave it in the comments below. I'd be curious, but that's pretty much all I can react to with this video.